Why would anyone invest in an off-plan property, one that you can't see, touch or feel, especially in a foreign country, when you could easily invest in a ready property, something that you can easily walk into, have a look around, feel it, invest and start getting immediate rental income, knowing that you are having a steady income starting from the following day itself. It seems obvious, right? But hold on, there's more to this story. Let's decode the pros and cons of ready versus off-plan properties in Dubai, and let's understand which one would be the smartest investment choice for you. This is how today's video is going to be structured. We will go through a brief introduction and overview of what seems to be obvious benefits of ready properties. We will then understand some benefits of off-plan properties, probably some that are not too commonly spoken about, versus ready also. And then we will go through a detailed analysis. I have analyzed a few properties and I've taken one particular specific example. I'll walk you through that specific numbers, how some investors have made money by investing in off-plan. And then I will be discussing about some common concerns that most foreign investors have. I get these concerns in most of the calls, not only foreign, even people who are recently new to Dubai, even they ask these questions. So we will address those concerns, those pain points when it comes to off-plan investments. And then I will be giving some closing remarks that would be helpful if you are an investor. So stick around until the end so that you can gain the maximum out of this video. And by the way, if you like my videos, please, I would really appreciate a like, share, and a subscribe to my channel so that I can help more and more potential investors, people discover this valuable content. Right, so let's get into the video. First of all, let me put out some points that come up in almost all the discussions that I have with a foreign investor. One being that, as I explained in the introduction, why should I invest in a property that is going to yield me returns 3-4 years down the line when I can invest in something immediate and get rental income? That is one main thing. The other thing is, like, when you invest in an off-plan property, you will not, there is a risk of delayed delivery, non-delivery. How can we tackle that? How can we rely on that? Another common thing is a ready property you can physically see, you can feel, you can understand, you know what it's already ready, right? Whereas in an off-plan property, you have to trust on the renders and hope and pray that the property comes out as expected in the renders. These are some of the common concerns, some of the common pain points that investors have. Then why should I invest in off-plan property? Having that being said, I just wanted to highlight you another important stat, an interesting statistic. If you look at the sales trends over the past 12 months in Dubai, almost 65% of all sales transactions have been off-plan sales transactions. Only 35 ready, which means clearly there has been a lot of demand for off-plan transactions. And some would argue, some could say that that's a sign of a market crash and so on and so forth. But we need to understand, out of this 65% of off-plan transactions, I'm pretty sure, just like you, any investor who would invest, I would say at least 85 to 90% of the investors should have done their proper due diligence before making the investment, because it is their hard-earned money, right? They would have been 100% convinced that off-plan is definitely the option that they should go into, and after that only they would have done that investment. Yes, some of them would have just gone into the hype and made the investment, but I'm pretty sure investors are intelligent. They would have done their due diligence. So there is something in this. Let's decode deep and let's understand why really off-plan is performing so much well in Dubai, even more than ready properties. So the main benefit of off-plan properties is the flexible payment plan that you get to enjoy. You only have to pay 10% or 20% down plus the 4% Dubai land department fee, which is common even in a ready property. And then you get a payment plan like 1% a month or like 5% every 6 months. Likewise, it would vary from developer to developer, from project to project. So you would have completed between 60 to 80% of the total payment by the time you get the handover, and the balance you pay on handover, or in some cases you get a post handover payment plan as well, right? And it's entirely interest free. So that is the kind of flexibility you get with off-plan investments. That's one benefit. The other thing is, in off-plan you'll get a variety of options, like a variety of layouts, units, placements, everything. In a ready, you have to buy what's up for sale. In a project or in a villa community or in a townhouse community, not every unit would be up for sale, right? When in off-plan, you have the upper hand to choose from what you would like. Next thing is, we need to understand Dubai real estate market is a little over 20 years old, and it's in terms of technology wise and in terms of architectural advancements, every new project is coming up with some kind of a high elevated standard compared to the previous project. So if you invest in a project that is like 5 to 10 years old, a ready project, or even 2 to 3 years old, you are losing out on whatever the new facilities, amenities, architectural advancements, technologies that are being embedded in a brand new off-plan project. On the other hand, if we go to ready properties, if the property is like over like 5 to 10 years old, then you will have to account for some additional maintenance and repairs costs that you need to take into consideration. Maybe you'll have to upgrade the apartment before renting it out in order to maximize the returns. So that is a cost that you need to keep in mind when you go for a ready property. Whereas in off plan, that is not going to be the case for a few years to come. And the other thing is, when you invest in a ready property or even nearing completion or closer to completion, or something that has been just handed over, or a property that is a few years old, you are paying for someone else's appreciation. You are not going to gain the maximum capital appreciation and even the maximum rental ROI by investing in a ready property. We'll understand this when I walk you through the numbers. The other thing is, if you pay full cash on a ready property, then you'll have to pay the entire 1 million or 2 million or 3 million at once. If you are going for a mortgage, if you go for like 20-80 mortgage or a 40 or a 50-50 mortgage, if you are an international buyer, you still, by the end of the mortgage tenure, you will end up paying around 30 to 40% at least higher than the original price of the property. So if the property price is 1 million, you'd end up paying like 1.4, 1.5 million by the time you are done with the payment mortgage installments. So your net returns are going to be comparatively less. So this is a bit of a comparison between ready versus off-plan properties. Now let me walk you through some specific numbers of a particular project that I have analyzed so that you'll be able to understand. Before walking you through the numbers, let me talk a bit about the project. This project is called Oakley Residences by Ellington Properties, which is a very well-reputed name in the industry. They are well known for their quality, timely delivery, elegance, luxury and everything. And this is located in JVC, Jumeirah Village Circle. And this project has been handed over last August, very recent handover. So let's understand the numbers in multiple angles, in the point of view of the first seller and in the point of view of the third seller. This has basically been resold twice during the process. The first person has purchased it at 998,000 when off plan, and he had resold it once to the second purchaser before handover when he had completed 70% out of this payment. He had only paid 70% out of the 998k, which is a little less than 700k, and he had sold it at 1,150,000 April 2024. Right? So he has basically held the investment for like 1 year. So the payment plan was like 20% immediate down payment, which he would have paid on this date, 10% after 2 months, 10% after 4 months. Likewise, the payment plan was going on until handover. So and 30% to be paid on handover. So he had paid 70% by this time, sold here. Second buyer has sold soon after handover at 1,375,000, and the third buyer had rented out the property at 105,000 dirhams. So let's understand this scenario in multiple angles. First, from the first buyer's point of view, if this person did not sell the property, if he rented out the property at 105k, this person his rental yield is going to be 10.5%, which is a very good number. I mean, this is an average property. I didn't take any exceptionally well performing properties. I didn't hunt for any such properties. I just took some numbers from Property Monitor, and I'm just walking you through the numbers. Of course, given that the developer is good, given that the project is good, not every off-plan project is going to give you yields. There are cases where investors have lost money, not only in off-plan, even in ready, when they choose a bad product, right? So that's exactly why closely working with a proper experienced consultant is very important in order for you to win in this bullish market, right? So this is Ellington. Of course, they are a good product. They are a good developer, and this is one of the units that I chose, right? Okay, so coming back, 10.5% is the rental ROI this person would have enjoyed if he intended to rent it out. Now, if he intended to hold the property until after handover, he would have gained 376,000 dirhams as capital gains, and the returns is like 37.7%. And if we also include the Dubai Land Department fee that he already invested initially, he would have gained a net return of like 35% if he held the property until after handover, right? This is from the first buyer's point of view. Now, first buyer is an off-plan investor. In 2023 he invested 20% down and he went ahead with the payment plan, right? Go to the third buyer's point of view. This person invested the entire amount, either cash or mortgage. He invested the entire 1,375,000 at this point in time, last November, right? And he had rented it out for 105k and he's only getting a rental income of 7.6%. So if he went for a mortgage, then his cost is going to be even higher than this, right? And we need to understand, after this it will appreciate for some time, because if you look at JVC location is upcoming, so there are developments that that are happening there. So that's a different discussion, but it will appreciate, but it's not going to appreciate this much. This is a crazy appreciation. 37% of an appreciation since March 2023 until November 2024. Like within a period of 1.5 years or little over 1.5 years, an appreciation of 37% is not normal. That's a very good appreciation that only can be enjoyed if you invest in off-plan properties, right? So just assume if you invest in this ready property, yes, as I said in the beginning, you can see the property, you can feel the property. But if you had invested in off-plan, your returns are going to be way higher than what you would get if you invest in ready properties, right? So this is just one example. I have multiple examples. On a one-on-one meeting, I can walk you through the specific unit numbers, all the examples, different areas. We can analyze the areas, we can analyze everything, and we can understand whether it's like some areas, maybe. So for example, if you go to Dubai Creek Harbour, some investments off plan does not make sense because off plan is significantly higher than ready properties, some investments, right? So likewise, it depends from area to area, but overall, if your purpose is solely investment and if you're okay to wait for some time without the need to get immediate rental income, then the best option would be to invest in an off plan property with proper consultation. Because as I said again, it has to be definitely done with proper consultation. You have to choose the proper developer who has a positive track record and everything. We'll talk about that in the next section. This is where I'm addressing the common concerns most investors have. So this video is basically structured in a way where basically I've had multiple conversations with foreign investors, and this is the common flow that they discuss about, like they want to invest in a ready property because they are not safe. They basically relate it to the situation back home, back in their country, right? It's not safe, you can't see the property. So that's what I was addressing in the beginning. And once those things are clarified, once you understand those things, then once we understand the numbers also, then the investors start having concerns about how can we trust the developers, what's the process. So in this part, I'm going to decode that. I'm going to explain you some of the tools that are available for us to understand those, right? So the first main concern is, how can I rely on the developer? How can I trust the developer, right? For that, we need to understand the track record of the developer. There are tools like Dubai Land Department website. I'll just walk you through it quickly. So this is the official website of the Dubai Land Department. There is a separate section for you to understand the property details, when it was started, when was the completion, inspection details. This gives a comprehensive detail of the project. You'll be able to understand the ownership of the property, of the plot, and everything you can understand here. Okay, this is one of the main tools that we use to assess properties. We use to understand the developer's background. Of course, this will not tell the whole story, but you can get a good idea by going through this analysis. And also we can understand the track records of the developer, once what projects they have delivered, how they have been performing, how the rentals are. For example, I showed you the Ellington property. I know for a fact Ellington is a good developer, right? If you invest in Ellington, you're not going to lose money. So likewise, that we can understand that in a one-on-one meeting, developer specific, you'll be able to understand those things. So that's one thing. And the other thing is, we need to understand the other measures that the government has put in place to safeguard your investment. One thing being that the Real Estate Regulatory Authority, RERA, which is the governing body of real estate in Dubai, they inspect every single project every 3 to 6 months and they provide a report. They submit a report. That report will be uploaded in this Dubai Land Department website. And also the other thing is, we have a concept of escrow account. We have an escrow account where every developer, when they launch a new project, they have to open a corresponding escrow account tied up with the Dubai Land Department, and your funds will go to the escrow account. It will not directly go to the developer's account. So once the developer shows progress and once they submit their documents, once the Dubai Land Department authorizes those documents, then only the developer can withdraw money in proportionate to what has been completed, right? So that's another main safeguard that you have. And there is a separate judiciary body inside the Dubai Land Department to basically tackle any disputes that come up along the way. So, and you also have the sales and purchase agreement with you, which is a legally binding document. Once you have signed that, every single detail of the contract will be mentioned in the sales and purchase agreement. So you basically, that is basically your weapon at hand. Okay, so that you are pretty much in safe hands, because here we also need to understand the bigger picture of the Dubai government, how it's going, why so many people are investing and moving into the city as a whole, right? So Dubai is a booming economy. UAE as a country is booming, and they are progressing according to a perfect plan. So the current plan being the Vision 2040 master plan that was laid out, right? So there are many things that are covered under Vision 2040, but some of the main things I'll highlight here. We need to understand the population growth. Back in 2002, Dubai had a population of 1 million. By 2015, it was 2.5 million. Today, it is 3.6 million. As part of Vision 2040, by 2040, they are planning to achieve 5.8 million of a population, right? And they will do that. They have been doing that, so they will do that. And that's not only about the population in terms of infrastructure, schools, hospitals, metros, and everything. They have a perfect plan. They are planning to expand the metro network with like multiple other lines. Currently, we have 2 lines. By 2029, we are going to launch the Metro Blue line. So there are so many other metro, yellow, purple, so many other lines are also yet to come up. And also there's a steady GDP growth of between 3.3 to 3.5%. And also we need to understand so many people are moving into Dubai every year. I mean, these numbers tell that, right? And as a matter of fact, 6,700 millionaires moved into Dubai in 2024, and that was the highest migration in the world, followed by USA, which was 3,800. So almost double the number of people who migrated, millionaires who migrated to USA have migrated into the UAE. So that tells a lot. That's not about just about them. They come and they start businesses, they invest here. It tells about the strength of the economy and how it's going to move on over the next few years. And so many other developments are happening in Dubai. If you are interested, we can discuss on a one-on-one meeting of all the benefits of all the developments and how the government has taken significant measures to safeguard the investors, because this is one of their, real estate is one of their main sources of income. So they have taken serious measures to take care of and safeguard the investors, to make sure this industry is regulated and it is a sustainable industry, right? And if at all, because I also get this concern, if at all there is going to be a recession or a market crash, what's going to happen to my investment? Well, first of all, there is not going to be a market crash. If at all there would be a correction, which is a short-term thing, which I have explained it in another video. If at all there is a market correction, it's going to be affecting the ready properties and the off-plan properties, not only off-plan, right? That risk is there anywhere in the world. If you invest somewhere, if you invest in real estate, of course that risk is there anywhere in the world. But then you have to see, okay, with that risk, what is the place that has a proper plan, a solid long-term plan, which has the capacity to mitigate that risk and move forward? Well, that is definitely Dubai, right? So these are some of the things that I wanted to discuss with you, that I wanted to explain to you in today's video. I think you got a very clear picture of the whole scenario, ready versus off plan. As I said during the video as well, there are exceptions. There are some very few, in some cases, yes, sometimes in some locations, if you look at the price point, sometimes very few selected few ready units would make sense, but that's not the norm. That's not the norm. We need to understand that. And also, on the other hand, some developers offer unreasonably high prices for off-plan properties, so that is also not good, right? So you have to maintain a perfect balance. I explained to you the common case scenario, how you can generally make more money by investing in off-plan. For case by case specific scenarios, we will have to have a discussion, a one-on-one discussion, to understand developers in detail, their track records, projects in detail. Even in projects, there are specific layouts that would yield you higher returns. So likewise, there are so many nuances that we need to understand, discuss and understand before moving on with the investment. Hope this video gave you a clear picture of the scenario. And if I might have missed out some benefits or some pros or some cons of like both ready and off plan, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. I would like to see them, and perhaps I can address them in a future video. So that's about today's video. If you like my content, I would again really love if you can like, share and subscribe my channel. And signing off until next time.